Today, I'm going to do a complete walk around on the 2017 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring. This is the one without the package, so this does not have the projection heads-up display, it does not have the heated rear seats, the memory seats, or the de-icing windshield wipers, or the heated steering wheel. It has every other feature that's available. So let's go through this. First of all, in the key fob, if you ever have to start the car, this end right here, if you press it physically against the start button while your foot is on the brake, it should still start the vehicle if the battery's dead in the key fob. You got your panic alarm, trunk release, unlock, and lock buttons. You've also got a clip back here that lets you get out a physical key. Now if your car is locked and you have your key fob within 3 feet, you have the door request switches on here, which are these right here. You can press it once to unlock just the driver's side, or double click it to unlock all the doors. Once you get in, you can press it one more time to lock it. Also, the car is locked right now. You can walk back here, and as long as the key fob is within 3 feet, you can unlock the back by pressing right there. And then back here, you've got latches on either side, and these are going to release the back seats. So if you pull the inner one here, it releases the middle one. If you pull these on the outside, or this one here, it releases the side seats. Now, in order to get those seats down, you need the seats up a little bit further, or you need to take the headrests off. So we're going to unlock the door here real quick. Put the seats back. Obviously, you just push these back. They'll go right back into place. Back in the back seat, you've got vents here. You've also got your window rolling, roll down your windows right there. In the middle console here, you have cup holders. And then in here, you've got your USB ports right there. If this were the fully loaded, you would have heated seat controls right here as well for the rear seats. Alright, we're going to get into the car and start it up and go over some more features here. Starting up the car, put your foot on the brake, press the start button. When your car starts, there's going to be a lot of lights that light up. They'll go away after a second, unless, of course, I don't put my seatbelt on there. You also may see a blue radiator symbol. That just means that the engine is in a quick warming up stage. That's perfectly normal. Alright, so in here, we'll go over a few things. So we've got over here, we've got your lights off, auto daytime running lights, parking lights, and then full on for your lights there. On the inner ring, you've got off and on for your fog lights. I prefer to keep it on auto. Turn signals are left, right. You can also do lane change like that. It'll do a quick 3-turn signal. And then over here, you've got your light or your windshield wipers. If you push up on it once, it's going to do the windshield wipers one time. If you go down, hold on, let me find a better way to do this. If you go down one, it puts it on auto. It's going to run the windshield wipers once, and then it will start sensing whether or not there's rain or not. If you turn that feature off in the settings over here, it actually works as an intermittent wiper on that setting. And then you have low and high, just like any other vehicle. The one on the outside here, this is your wiper for the back of the vehicle. So you turn that on, it's going to turn on that windshield wiper back there. You've got intermittent on, and then fluid if you want to spray down the window there. To run the fluid for the front of the car here, you pull back, and it's going to run the windshield wiper fluid for the front of the vehicle. On your steering wheel here, you have pick up and hang up for your phones, like when a phone call is coming through. You've got your voice commands, which I'm going to go ahead and hit. Now, the biggest hang up people have with this is waiting for the beep. So it says,
say a command.
Cancel. You got to wait for that pause and that beep, and every time it prompts you, it's going to pause and beep. So you just got to get used to using it that way. You've got volume control for your stereo right here. These buttons, the skip buttons, are going to skip through all of your favorite radio stations once you set up favorite radio stations in the vehicle. The info button is going to change this screen right here. You press right in the center, and it's going to change between these screens on your vehicle there. Now there's more features as to what it will change between on the fully loaded Grand Touring CX-5, but this one is got about 4 features that it switches between. Alright, down here you've got the auto hold feature, which when you're driving you can't engage it from a parking position, but once you've been driving you can engage this. When you come to a stop, if you come to a full stop, it will hold the brake and let you take your foot off the brake, and then it will go as soon as you press the gas. And you can keep that on, and it'll do that every time you come to a full stop. This is your parking brake. When it's engaged, it's going to light up orange here. To disengage it, you have to put your foot on the brake while the car is running and push down. The light will go away, it disengages it. The sport button, you press up, it's going to say sport on your tachometer. This just changes the gear ratio and how the vehicle shifts. It shifts you at a little bit higher RPM, gives you a little bit more get up and go if you need it. To take that sport mode back off, you simply pull back down, and the sport mode button, or the sport mode setting, will go away off of the tachometer there. On your gear shift here, it's pretty basic. Park, rear, neutral, drive, and then manual. So just in case this ever happens to you and you don't want it to, when this is in drive, to put it in manual mode, all you got to do is kick this over to the left, and it's now in manual mode. You go down to go up a gear, up to go down a gear. And you can always check your tachometer right there, and it will tell you what gear you're in. Now the nice thing about this, it won't let you redline your vehicle. You can't mess your vehicle up in any way by utilizing that feature. Okay, so now we're going to go to the climate control. Up here, you've got, as long as this is lit up, which you light it up by, you can unlight it by changing modes. But as long as it's lit up, it's going to be in automatic mode. And all you got to do is adjust the thermostat. It will change how fast the fan's going based on what temperature it is and how much it needs to get there. Now you can control the passenger side separately by turning that one on, and then I can control the passenger side separately from the driver's side if I want to. Otherwise, you're controlling it all from this side. Now, if you want to control your controls manually, you've got your fan speed down and up. You've got fresh air, recycled air. You've got modes that you can cycle through, and these are just a down and up button that cycle through all the different modes that are available. Front and rear defrost. When the rear defrost is on, it is also going to defrost your side mirrors as well. We're going to put this back on automatic here. Up here, you've got your heated seats for the driver and passenger side. Now, if you had the fully loaded edition, you would have the heated steering wheel here right beside the heated seat on the driver's side. Now, if you want to turn these on, you just press it. It turns it on to full heat. You can change it to 2 bars, 1 bar, or back off just by cycling through there. If you do set these and leave it on after you shut the vehicle off, they will come back on as soon as you start the car up the next time you start the car. Up here, you've got your hazards right there. On your vents, you've got off and on. And then up here, you've got your all on for the lights, all off for the lights, door mode, and then you can press these individually to turn on the lights as needed. The moonroof is a one-touch back, and it's a one-touch forward. You can also press up on it, and it's going to pop the back, and then to close that again, you press forward again, and it'll close the back again. Now, if you want to bring this back, this is a manual thing to bring back here. Up here, you also have your sunglass holder, which is all important. And on the mirror, you've got your home link buttons. This is where you would set your garage door openers. Now the instructions for that should be in your big book manual, and it'll have all the instructions there under home link on how to do that. And then over here you've got your on off for the auto dimming mirror. Now when it's on, it's going to be lit up green right here. Off, not lit up green, obviously. All right, so we're going to jump into from here and go into the screen and go over to the different settings here. So from left to right, we're just going to jump into applications here. Real quick before I get into this, the different functionalities down here. This is a touchscreen, but only under 5 miles an hour. After that, you have to utilize this command center down here. So the functionality down here is you can twist this to move things. You can use it as a joystick to move things. To select, you push down on the middle here. This is your volume control. You got a quick mute right there. And then you got back button, or you got a quick select buttons here. This is your back button, takes you to the music section. Home button always takes you to this screen. Nav takes you to navigation, and then favorites takes you to your favorite screen. Now, another thing while we're here in favorites, when there's a screen that has tabs like this one does, the twisting motion is going to take you up and down through your choices here. And then the joystick motion is going to take you back and forth between the tabs. So that's how you do that. Alright, now we're going to go back to the home screen. All the way to the left here, under applications, you've got your HD radio traffic map. This just links up with your navigation. If there's a backup on a highway, it's going to give you the information as to whether that's backed up or not. It also links up with your navigation to offer detours and different things like that. Fuel economy monitor. In here, you can bring this menu up right here. And in here, you can reset your fuel economy tracking and start tracking from anywhere you want to. Under settings, you can also have this screen show when you turn the ignition off, and you can sync it with trip A if you want to. Now the way you set or reset trip A is over here, and there's this right here. So now we're on trip A, trip B, and then total miles. So we're going to go to trip A, we hold this down, and that's how you reset trip A. Under vehicle status monitor, if you have any symbols up here that you don't know what they are, and it's not something simple like no seatbelt, if you go in under warning guidance, it will actually tell you what those warnings are right there. Under maintenance, this is where you can set your scheduled maintenance, tire rotation, oil change, and you can track all that through here. Now, this one is overdue, so it shows up that wrench right there. All you got to do to get that away, if you know you don't need that scheduled service right now, is go back in here, go down to reset, and then that will reset the tracking right there, and see the wrench went away. Alright, so that's everything that's in the applications menu. Under entertainment, this is where you are going to control your radio. So the most basic function in here is going to be your tune function. You select that. That's going to be where you dial around to wherever you want it to be on the dial. Oh, let's go to HD station. Alright, and then if you want to change between AM and FM and XM, all that's going to be right here. These three right here, AHA, Pandora, and Stitcher, those are all apps that if you have on your phone, you can just select this and it will launch it automatically from your phone. If you listen to anything else on Bluetooth, like let's just say Slacker radio, you would launch it in your phone, go to Bluetooth, it'll play it through there. Also, if you have a USB that has MP3s on the main drive, you can listen to those by plugging in a USB into the USB port in the middle console, which is right in here. Alright, so we're going to go back to FM and just go over some of the functionality here. So under auto memory, under here you've got genre seek, which if if you go under genre, you can actually have it scan through all the stations on the dial of any genre that you want it to. If this helps out if you're in a new city or something like that. And then under this one is how you favorite a radio station. You hit that. It's going to say add edit radio favorites, and then you can add 103.9. This is also where you can move a station or delete a station as well, out of your favorites, that is. HD. So if you've got an HD channel, it's going to tell you that it is an HD channel right there and how many stations are available. Under the HD, you can turn the HD functionality off if you want to pick up the analog signal. And then you can also pick up the second or the first or second stream, or sometimes third or fourth stream if they're available. And you just select which stream you want to pick up right there. If you want to scan through the stations on the dial, you just hit scan, and this will scan through all the relevant stations on the dial. When you're ready to stop it, you just hit the button again and it'll stop the scan. Again, the manual tune just takes you right in here. Tag button takes a second to load up sometimes, but once it recognizes the song information, it's going to light this up. You can actually tag this song information to save it for later. And then here you can skip to the last relevant station on the dial and then the next relevant station on the dial. And then the far right one is your sound settings. This is where you can change your bass, treble, fade, balance, center point, and audio pilot. I recommend being on. What those are: center point is more of a surround sound for the vehicle, and then the audio pilot actually compensates the noise or the radio when you roll down your windows for wind noise. It's a great feature to have on. All right, we're going to go back to the home menu because that was pretty much everything in music. Under communication, I don't have my phone hooked up right now, so we're going to hit no, but that's the easiest way to set up your phone, is just go in there and hit connect, and it'll start searching as long as you have your Bluetooth on. What we're going to do, you got favorites, contacts, call history, dial phone, and text messages. That's just where you can access that information. Under settings, you can actually choose what's downloaded and what's not downloaded, what ringtone you use. Right now it uses your phone ringtone. You can change it to the car ringtone. You can turn your ringtone off completely. You can change your phone volume, your ringtone volume, how your contacts are displayed either by last name or first name. Edit preset messages. So it reads text to you and then offers you an automatic response. Now, it doesn't work right now with Apple devices, but Android devices it should. This is a list of all the preset messages that are available. You can actually go in here and edit any of these preset messages to be whatever you want them to be. So that's always an available option if you want it. The emergency assistance call, if you have that enabled, and it will ask you when you set up your phone most of the time, it will actually dial 911 automatically if your airbags deploy. And then you can always reset factory settings there. And that's pretty much it for the communication. So we're going to go into navigation. In here, you've actually got a lot of redundancy as to what is available and how it works. Now, the only way to enter in an address by typing it in is to be sitting still. Otherwise, you're going to have to use your voice command button and say new destination as the command, and then it'll walk you through putting in a new destination through voice. And that's the only way to do it while you're driving. So, but we're just going to do this as though we're sitting still here. So, we're going to go to this one, find an address. Now up here, it says United States, Ohio. If you need to go somewhere in a different city, or a different state, I'm sorry, you need to go up here first and type in the state that you want to go to, okay? And it will light up, and then it'll let you put in an address for that state. We're going to stick with our same state here, and we're going to go into city or zip first. Let's just say we want to go to Dayton, Ohio. It starts auto-selecting what you have available left there. So then we're going to go somewhere on Ludlow Street, which is downtown. And then we're going to pick a house number randomly. Again, it starts narrowing your options as you pick more numbers. Now, it lights up when it knows there's no other options, and that must be the address. Now, if you know that the address is 7, you can still hit this button and it'll start the directions. But it knows that there's no other options once I hit 74. So then it gives me this as a, this is what you hit next type deal. And then you can navigate to, which just starts your navigation. You can pull it up on the map. You can pull points of interest nearby, and you can save it as a favorite. Points of interest nearby is kind of neat. It allows you to find help nearby, which is just going to be nearest dealer, car repair, medical, police, or fire station. You can filter by name. If you want to type in a business name, you can type it in here, and it will search by that business name. If you just want to find the nearest restaurants, you can go down to category. Let's just go to the restaurants. You can search near your point. You can also search in a different city. If you have a route set up, you can search along your route or near your destination as well. We're just going to do near here, hit search, and then it brings up everything close by to that location. Alright, so we're going to go back into new destination again. Navigate home. This is where you set your home address. Once you do, all you have to do is hit navigate home and it will take you home every time. Points of interest is the same deal that we were just in before. You've got the help nearby, filter by name, filter by category, search near here, along route, etc. So like I said, there's a lot of redundancy in here. You can access your favorites here if you have any. Your history you can access here. And you can also type in latitude and longitude right here. Under information, not a lot of stuff in here you're going to use a whole lot. You got traffic information, help nearby again, which is the closest dealer, car repair, fire, police, and all that. It'll tell you where you are, a little bit of information about the GPS, country information, and then about. Again, this is going to be more redundancy. Help nearby, filter by name, filter by category, search near here, along route, etc. Over here, you can quick toggle between 3 different viewpoints. And then over under navigation settings, you've got map settings, which if you want to set your default viewpoint to a different one, you can do that there. Whether it automatically zooms or not, viewpoint height, whether it shows you a highway overview or not. Buildings, you can choose landmarks only, buildings only, or none, or all models. Place markers is kind of cool. Right now it shows you airports and fuel stations by default. You can choose to show banks or whatever else you want to. Now if you go into one of these, you can actually unselect ones that you don't like if you have ones that you want to not show up on your map. Under guidance settings, this is where you can change the guidance volume, whether it shows you highway exits, signposts, junction views, and tunnel views. Warning settings, right now you can set it to audio or visual, or audio, visual, or both, and it'll warn you if you're speeding. You can set the speed limit threshold under speed limit there. It's going to warn you visually if there's alert points, and speed cameras, you can set those to audible as well. And it's always going to warn you for cameras, and it's going to show you warning signs as well. Under route settings, this is where you would change it if you don't want to allow for ferries or toll roads or whatever you want to take off there that you don't want it to calculate for. Under traffic settings, right now it pulls information from historical traffic data, the traffic map that I showed you earlier in the applications menu. It does auto accept the detour. It does not auto accept the detour, and the detour sensitivity is 5 minutes. Of course, you can change that to any type of sensitivity that you want. So, all right, we're going to get out of navigation because that pretty much covers that, and go over to the settings menu. So in here, if you ever want to turn off this display here or change the contrast, this is where you would do that. You just select this. It's going to turn it off. Press any button or even the screen, and it's going to turn it right back on. Under safety, so in here you can turn on and off any smart or turn on and off any of the safety settings or safety systems, and you can change how they work and everything too. Under sound, takes us back to that same sound menu we were at before. The clock is pretty self-explanatory. Normally you don't have to do much, just sync it with the GPS and it should be correct. But you can do it manually as well. Vehicle, We got rain sensing wipers, which I described earlier. You can turn those off, and that's where it becomes the intermittent wipers instead. Under door locks, you can change things like right now it locks when you're driving and unlocks when the ignition is off. You can instead have it lock when it's out of park and unlock when it's in park, or however you like it set up. This is just the volume of the buttons on the outside of the door when you press those buttons to get into the car for the door request switches. If you don't get into your vehicle after you unlock it, it's going to relock within 60 seconds. You can change the timing on that. Currently, when you unlock the doors, 1 click is going to unlock the driver, 2 is going to unlock all the doors. You can change that to unlock all the doors with 1 click instead if you want to. And then you can have it lock as you walk away with the key fob automatically if you want to, and then you can always reset all the settings right there. Under turn signals, I told you there was that 3 flash turn before. It's that. If you want to turn that functionality off, you simply uncheck this, and then you can change the volume from high to low, and you can always reset that as well. Under lighting, right now when you have your doors open, the lights inside are going to stay on for 30 minutes. You can change it to 10 or 60. Once you close the doors, the lights are going to stay on for 15 seconds. Again, you can change that to different times if you want to. The adaptive front lighting system. This is the system where the lights turn into the turn and they self-level coming over the top of hills. You can turn that system on and off automatically, or you can turn that system off if you don't like that system on. I have no idea what light on volume is, so if you know what it is, please leave me a comment in the video below. I would love to know. Headlight off timer and coming home timer are essentially the same thing. When you get home, the lights are going to stay on for 30 seconds. You can change it up to 2 minutes if you want to give you more visibility, or down to nothing if you live in an apartment complex. Auto headlights on. This is your auto daytime running lights, and they're going to come on a medium light. If you want them to come on earlier in the evening, set it to low. Later in the evening, set it to high. And then, of course, you can always reset all those settings as well. Under devices, this is where you would add a new Bluetooth device. If you have one set up already, you can just add a second one here. This is where you would want to select which device is active, though, too. Under system, in here you can change it to Celsius, kilometers. You can even change the language that you're using if you want to. And then you can restore all factory settings there as well. That pretty much covers the basis of how to utilize the actually this is a Grand Select Mazda CX-5 2017. So there are a few features that are missing in here that are not in the Grand Touring, such as the high-speed braking support, the adaptive cruise control, and the lane departure assistance. So I apologize, I thought it was in a Grand Touring, but this is actually a Grand Select. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the section below, and I hope this helped you out some.